All right. Good morning, everybody. What's going on? All right, we're gonna continue to keep talking about this because this is still fresh in a lot of people's minds. This is a hot topic, and we're just gonna keep going with it. It's not gonna go away. And the more time that goes on, the weeks leading up to the rematch being announced, we're gonna keep talking about it. We're gonna keep having our opinions. We're gonna keep speculating, and we're going to keep having our discussions. We're going to keep having our back and forths. But again, opinions are opinions. That's true. And you may not agree with me, and I may not agree with you. But when I bring up some valid points and it goes against your beliefs and it goes against what you want to happen, because in your mind, you want things to be a certain way and you just can't accept, for whatever reason, if those things don't go the way you want, the way you expect them to go, you just have it made up in your mind that this is what has to happen. This is what I want to happen. And no matter what someone says to me, no matter what evidence is brought to me, I am not going to change my mind. I am not going to waver. But again, you really don't know more than I know. The same information that I have is the same information that you have. So again, we can have opinions on what's going to happen. But to speak in a definitive matter, as if we know for sure, as if we have information that's irrefutable in front of us, we really can't say either one of us is 100% right or 100% wrong. But again, when points are brought up that are valid, that could be plausible, and when we point to empirical data, we point to circumstantial evidence to support our opinions, to support our arguments, although we still may be wrong, there is still a chance that I could be right and you could be wrong. And you're not even giving me that. So I made a video the other day about Eddie Hearn had said that it's not guaranteed that the rematch is in the UK. Now, and everyone, the whole UK squadron came on the video, came in the chat, and they said, oh, it's definitely going to be in the UK. Eddie Hearn has the final say. Eddie Hearn, he wants it in the UK. It's going to be in the UK. Everything is all done. Contract's all done. It's already, the venue's already set. Ruiz's purse is already set. Blah, 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 blah. How do you know all this when Eddie Hearn himself told you that nothing is etched in stone yet? Let's read the quote again. Let's read the quote again. There was no point in waiting, Hearn told ESPN. He told ESPN this, so he was being interviewed by ESPN. Okay? We've talked about it, and it's happening. There's no other fight AJ wants. So there was no point waiting 30 days. Everybody needs clarity. We sat down, and it wasn't even a case asking what else is out there. The rematch is the fight we need, and that's what we'll be doing. As for the date and location, Hearn told ESPN that November was more likely than December. And my gut feeling, he said, my gut feeling was the UK. He said, my gut feeling was the UK, but not guaranteed. So he's telling you right here, my gut feeling was the UK, which indicates that he wanted it in the UK. But it's not guaranteed. He said, we have to look at everything. The people at the DAZN, and it's in parentheses, the U.S. broadcaster in Madison Square Garden would like to do part 2 in the U.S. So Joshua came to Andy Ruiz's country for the first fight, so it kind of makes sense to the second fight in the UK, but we'll see. So Eddie Hearn himself told you that it's not guaranteed that the fight is in the UK. So I'm only reporting what Eddie Hearn said, but yet I've given you quotes from Eddie Hearn's mouth that he himself said that the fight was not guaranteed to be in the UK. And you guys are saying that it is. Oh, thank you, Florian Seagrass. This is for Robbie's Own Fund. Shout out from Switzerland. Thank you. So I provide you actual quotes from Eddie Hearn saying that even he said that it's not guaranteed the fight's in the UK after he was talking to ESPN. And you still are questioning me. You're still doubting me. You're still saying that I'm wrong. And I'm not saying that the fight is 100% not going to be in the UK. I'm not saying that. But when Eddie Hearn himself tells you that even he said it's not guaranteed to be in the UK, you still don't believe it. And you still say that I'm wrong. And you still criticize me for quoting Eddie Hearn. Do I know what's in the contract? I heard, this is what I heard, that Eddie Hearn, supposedly is what I heard, in the rematch clause, has the choice of venue. But he didn't come out and say that. He didn't come out and say that. Because he said it's not guaranteed in this interview with ESPN. So I don't know if that's true or not. It could be. I don't know. But one thing I do know is he said it's not guaranteed here in the interview. Those were his words. And then on YouTube, he went back and said, well, we have to sit down and talk about it. We could still do it. He said, we could still do it back here in New York. So it's not guaranteed that it's in the UK, but you UK fans already have it in your head that, oh, it has to be in the UK. We want it in the UK. So your cognitive dissonance ignores even quotes from the promoter himself saying that it's not guaranteed. And you choose to just ignore that and circumvent the actual quotes. Oh, Eddie Hearn, he wants it in the UK. It's going to be in the UK. It's definitely in the UK, blah, blah, blah. And then supposedly Andrew Ruiz's purse is already set. Supposedly. But again, that was not confirmed either. These are all rumors. Could they be true? Yes. Not saying they aren't. Or they couldn't be. But when I give you actual quotes that it's not guaranteed that the fight is in the UK, and you say that, oh, it isn't, it's definitely going to be in UK, even after hearing the quotes from Eddie Hearn's mouth that I gave you, then that's cognitive dissonance. You choose to not listen to anything because you have it in your head that the fight has to be in the UK. And you want it to be in the UK so bad that if I show you evidence that suggests that maybe it might not be in the UK, there's a strong possibility that it could be right back here in the United States. Oh, you don't want to hear that. Beep, you're just a cult member. For whatever that means. So, because I tell you something you don't want to hear, because you're on one side of an argument, I'm on the other side of an argument, I'm in the cult, but what about you? What about your cult? What about your being a cult to your beliefs and your opinions? I mean, we're all biased, there's no question about it. Tyson Fury is my favorite heavyweight and probably my favorite fighter in the world right now. Why? Because I'm biased towards his style. I like boxers. I like guys who are slick. I like guys who have good upper body and head movement. I like guys that can counterpunch. I like guys who are well-rounded. And for me, I've been saying this, and I repeat, since 2014, Tyson Fury is the best heavyweight in the world. I picked him to beat Klitschko the first time, and I even said a 75% Fury is that good that he can even beat Deontay Wilder, with all due respect to Deontay Wilder. And I thought he beat Deontay Wilder. So this isn't about me being an AJ hater and a Deontay Wilder lover. This isn't about me being a Hearn hater. This is about me just pointing out what Hearn said. Okay? So all these speculations that are being put out there, they have not yet been confirmed. And Hearn has not really done any interviews on YouTube lately because he's working behind the scenes to make sure this thing gets done and it's ironed out and it's completely finished. So he's being hush-hush about it. Okay? He exercised the rematch clause very quickly. He even said that he wanted to have the date and venue announced by the end of the week, which seems kind of odd. I don't know if that's going to happen. But regardless of all that, there's a lot of things that we don't know. Okay? Like the zone, people don't realize, like everyone thinks Eddie Hearn is like the end all be all of boxing. Like he's the king. He can do whatever he wants. He's got all this power. But you guys seem to forget that the promoter is nothing without a broadcaster. The promoter is getting paid by the broadcaster, and then the promoter pays the fighter with the broadcaster's money. The zone gave Eddie Hearn a large sum of money, reportedly $1 billion over 8 years. That's what was reported. That's what was reported. So he roughly has about $250 million to play with every year. Okay? The zone has first and last rights refusals on all of Anthony Joshua's fights. The zone is looking to make a splash here in the United States. That's what they want to do. They are looking for U.S. subscribers. That's why they put a lot of pressure on Eddie Hearn to scrap that April 13th date in Wembley and bring Anthony Joshua to America in New York to fight a New Yorker. And obviously that fell through, but the mission was still to make Anthony Joshua known to the American public by bringing him to the United States, just like every other top UK fighter eventually did. Okay? That's what the DAZN wanted. And you guys say, oh, Eddie doesn't have to listen to the DAZN. Again, the DAZN invested a lot of money in Matchroom. For you guys to think that they have absolutely no influence on what Eddie Hearn does is ridiculous. Why do you think all of the Matchroom fighters are now fighting in the United States? Why do you think that a lot of these cards are being brought over here now and they're not shown or they're not in UK venues? And that's why Adam Smith was getting upset with Eddie Hearn. They had a talk, and he was complaining that you're giving the United States and DAZN all of the well, DAZN's going to get the cards anyways, but you're having all of the UK cards now that used to be here over in the United States. You're showcasing all of the top UK fighters in the United States now. Why? Well, because DAZN is putting pressure on Eddie Hearn to do that, and they're the ones that are putting up more money than Sky. So that's why the fights are coming here. That's why Eddie Hearn is basically going along with what DAZN wants, because they are the ones that are putting up the most money for these events. He's already said that. He goes, the reason why these fights are in the United States and not the UK is because that's where the money is. And where is that money coming from, folks? DAZN. And DAZN has already said that they want this rematch back in the Madison Square Garden. So they will be willing to put up another substantial chunk of money to ensure that the rematch is in the United States. Does that mean it's 100% locked in that it's in the United States? No. But there is a good chance that it will be, because that's what DAZN wants. And Sky cannot compete with DAZN. Adam Smith had said as much. He was asked one time, what happens if DAZN comes to the UK? He said, well, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, but it's not going to be pretty. That's what he said. So he knows financially, money-wise, Sky can't compete with DAZN. Again, they're giving Eddie Hearn $250 million a year, allegedly. Is Sky giving Eddie Hearn $250 million a year? No. So to sit there and think that Eddie Hearn doesn't sit down with the zone and they don't have any influence on what Eddie Hearn does, you guys are freaking myopic if you think that that's the case. When I interviewed Bob Arum, I asked Bob Arum, I said, does ESPN have a say in what fights are going to be made? You know, they have a say in a lot of the negotiations when it comes to this fight, when it comes to putting together fights. Bob Arum said to me, they had a major influence on putting together this deal with Tyson Fury. We had to run it by them, and we have to run it by them on who Tyson Fury fights. So to sit there and think that a broadcaster has no say in what a promoter does when they're the ones giving the promoter the money is just fucking ridiculous. So again, I give you evidence, I give you quotes, and you still don't want to fucking listen to me. You still don't want to listen to me. And this is what is just, it's just frustrating. Like if you tell me things like, there's certain things you guys tell me, I can't refute them. Anthony Joshua does make more money than Deontay Wilder. I don't argue against that. I admit it. Anthony Joshua is more popular in the UK than Deontay Wilder is in the United States. I can't argue with that. That's factual. The numbers don't lie. Okay? When you say things like that to me, I don't argue it. If someone says to me, the zone is paying fighters more than any other platform is right now, I can't fucking disagree with that. They just gave Triple G $100 million. They just gave Canelo a $365 million deal. No one else has given fighters those deals. I can't argue against that. Right? So when things are presented to me that I can't dispute, then I agree. You're right. You're right. But my argument always was, if you put these two guys together, Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua, the sum is greater than its parts. Okay? The sum is greater than its parts. And Deontay Wilder is a big part of that sum. Because everywhere Anthony Joshua went, he was asked about Deontay Wilder. So Eddie Hearn can say whatever he wants about how Deontay Wilder made a name off of Anthony Joshua. But so Anthony Joshua is being asked about Deontay Wilder too. It's not like Deontay Wilder is being asked about Anthony Joshua and Anthony Joshua is not being asked about Deontay Wilder. It's the same on both ends. It's the fight that everybody wants to see. Okay? And Deontay Wilder had something to do with that. And I had people, inbox me from the UK telling me, Pete, don't listen to these Hearn fanboys. He goes, Deontay Wilder is very popular over here. Everybody knows who he is. He's not a nobody. These are people that I've been talking to over the UK for a long time, that I interact with on social media, and people have my email address. Remember, I'm UK's adopted son. That's my moniker. There's a reason for that. I have a lot of connections and friends in the UK, interactions with people in the UK. And before DAZN even exists, I had people sending me these fights that from the UK, and that's how I got involved in UK boxing and interested in UK boxing, because a lot of friends I had over there that used to watch me on other shows, they would send me fights. And I was a Tyson Fury fan since like 2011. And then 2014, that's when I started telling everybody, this guy's the best heavyweight in the world. He's going to beat everybody. So, you guys just don't want to listen. You guys just don't want to listen. I present things to you and you just totally ignore them. Why? It's cognitive dissonance. It's cognitive dissonance. That's what it is. And as much of a Fury fan as I was, I didn't like as a fan, I didn't like the ESPN deal, because I thought it would be problematic for him to make fights with other big heavyweights like Wilder and Joshua. I didn't think that the ESPN had the stable of fighters that would make for good fights. Now, is he getting paid? Probably, but I don't know exactly what he's getting. Was it a good deal for him financially? Yeah. But it was a shitty deal for the fans, in my opinion. Hopefully I'm wrong. But as much of a fan as Tyson Fury I am, I called it like I saw it. So that's the thing. And again, Andy Ruiz is going to sit down with Al Heyman. And I'm sure they're going to challenge points in the contract. And I'm sure this thing, I'm not sure, but I suspect, I should say, let me rephrase that. I suspect that this thing could be drawn out longer than most people think. And I don't think that it's going to be that cut and dry where everything Hearn wants, he's going to get. I know Andy Ruiz signed a rematch clause. I understand that. But again, that doesn't mean he's not going to fight some of the points in that rematch clause. And we do know back in 2001, Asim Rockman tried to get out of his rematch clause with Lennox Lewis. It went to the Supreme Court, and eventually the Supreme Court ruled in favor of Lewis. And if Asim Rockman chose to not rematch Lewis, then it was ordered that he would not be allowed to fight for 18 months, which is a year and a half. Now, I'm not saying Andy Ruiz is going to have this get drawn out to the point where it goes to court and he's going to try to fight it. I don't know. He could, maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. I don't know. If it does go to the Supreme Court, are they going to hand down the same ruling that they handed down in the Rockman-Lewis case? I don't know. Could be possible, but again, that was a long time ago. That was 18 years ago, guys. So just to assume that if Ruiz goes to court and the same situation is going to happen to him that happened to Rockman, we don't know that because he could just say this contract is it's a predatory contract. It's too ambiguous. I signed it, but I signed it not knowing this. I was under duress, whatever. I'm not saying that those would be valid arguments, but he could try to pose those, and judge could listen to some of that stuff. They rushed me into signing the contract. I wanted to fight real bad, whatever. But again, I don't know what the exact terms of the rematch clause were, but everyone's assuming that when you sign a rematch clause, that the next fight's contract is already drawn up. No, I'm sure there's stipulations in the rematch clause that are guaranteed. I'm not disputing that. But to sit there and say that the whole contract is drawn up and nothing is going to be negotiated on, that's not how it's done. Could Hearn have very well put in the contract that his promotional company has the choice of the venue and the time of the event? Absolutely. Could he have put in that Ruiz has a guaranteed purse of such and such in the rematch? Absolutely. But I don't know if he did. Could he have? Absolutely. I'm not disputing that that's not the case. But to sit there and say that Ruiz isn't going to challenge some of those points, to sit there and say DAZN is not going to have any influence on where this fight takes place next, when they're putting up the money and they're going to be the broadcaster, is utterly ridiculous on you guys' part who are questioning that. Eddie Hearn can't just walk in and tell DAZN, hey, this is what's going to happen. They're partners, okay? They're partners. They work together, okay? So DAZN is going to have some input in what goes on. Same thing with HBO. When HBO had certain fighters under contracts, they had Andre Wood under contract for fights, right? And he would want to fight a certain fighter. They wouldn't approve the opponent. Guess what? They didn't put the fight on. They didn't put the fight on because the promoter has to work with the broadcaster. Bob Arum has to work with ESPN. PBC have to work with Showtime and Fox. Okay? It's up to the broadcaster to decide what they're going to do, how much money they want to pay for the fight. And I'm sure DAZN will put way more money up for the fight if it's in the United States than if it were to be in the UK. And Eddie Hearn is not stupid. He has a fiduciary responsibility to his company and his fighter to make the most amount of money for his company and for his fighter. And if it's more financially rewarding for his company and for his fighter, for the fight to be in the United States, guess what? The fucking fight's going to be in the United States. And all you UK guys, you're like, oh, well, like you want it to be in the UK so bad because you're saying to yourself, like, what do you think he can't win it? Like he needs to fight to be in the UK in order for him to win? I've openly said I don't want the fight in the UK. I'm being honest. I don't think Luis will get a fair shake in the UK. That's just my opinion. That's my bias. I can admit that. Now, will you guys admit that maybe you're afraid if the fight's in the United States that Anthony Joshua is going to could possibly get nervous again and not be able to rise to the occasion again because he could be out of his element again? Maybe it's a psychological thing. He feels that he's not the same fighter when he's in the United States as opposed to the UK. He needs to fight in the UK in order to be at his best. Is that what you guys think? I'm openly telling you my opinion. I'm telling you honestly. I don't think Ruiz will get a fair shake. I don't even think he got a fair shake here. He was only up by a point on 2 cards, and he was down by a point on another. I only gave Joshua 1 round, and I think if you want to be fair, you could possibly give him 2. But he was being dominated in that fight, and Ruiz was only up by a point on 2 scorecards, and he was down 1 in another. And then the referee was giving Joshua so much time in the 7th round to try to recover. He was pulling on his trunks, actually holding him up. So if he's getting that treatment here, what's going to happen in the UK? If he gets knocked down in the UK, they're probably going to pick him up and give him smelling salts. That's just my opinion. Could it be a stretch? Is it a conspiracy theory? It could very well be looked at as such. But it's my opinion, and I can admit that. I want the fight to be in the United States because I want to go to it. Again, location in the contract, most likely. What's most likely mean? That's not a definitive yes. Okay? That's not a definitive yes. But the contract has person, location, dates already in it, most likely. What does most likely mean? That's your opinion. You don't know that. You don't know that. Are you even entertaining what I just said? Like, did I even make good points to you? Don't you realize that the zone, it wants this fight in the United States? They're the ones that are putting up the money. So you don't think that they could turn around and say to Eddie Hearn, we want the fight here, we'll pay you such and such here, but if you put it in the UK, you're only going to get that. You don't think that has an influence on where the fight is? You're not even going to acknowledge that? You're not going to acknowledge that? The cognitive dissonance won't let you acknowledge that? Are you fucking kidding me? You guys keep, it's likely. It's like, nothing is fucking likely. Nothing. Hearn told you he's not fucking confirming it's in the UK. Even he doesn't know where it is. Even he doesn't know where it is. How could you guys be using words like most likely when even Hearn is saying he doesn't know? He has to still figure it out. How could it be done? If Hearn doesn't know all these things, why is your cognitive dissonance telling you that he does when he says he doesn't? Cognitive fucking dissonance. Cognitive fucking dissonance. This phone is black, okay? I may want it to be pink, but guess what? It's fucking black. I can't change it. Because I want it to be pink, it's not going to be pink. I can pretend it's pink, but that's still not going to make it pink. Hearn says he doesn't know where the fucking fight is going to be. He is not confirming it's going to be in the UK. The quotes were already read to you. So if the quotes are read to you, if they're read to you, and you still don't want to listen to the quotes, and you're still using words like most likely, when even he doesn't know, then you are fucking sick. You need help. You need therapy. You need therapy. You want something to be a certain way so bad. That doesn't mean it's going to be that way. You cannot change reality. You don't have an infinity gauntlet on your hand with the reality gem in your fucking on your fucking fist. You can't change reality. You're not fucking Thanos. You're not fucking Thanos. Okay? I'm not fucking Thanos. I can't sit here and guarantee you that the fight is going to be in the United States. I can't guarantee you that. But the empirical data and the circumstantial evidence suggests strongly, in my opinion, that it might very well be, because that's what DAZN wants. Eddie Hearn told you, we're going to have to sit down and figure it out. Who the fuck do you think he's going to sit down with? Maybe the broadcaster? Why? Oh, because they're giving him, they're putting up the money? That's why. Does Hearn have $250 million in his bank account where he could just fucking go to the zone and tell them what to do? Someone gives you $250 million. You don't think they're investing $250 million in you. You don't think they're going to have any say on their investment? They're not going to have any input on their investment? You think they're blindly just going to give him $250 million and he could fucking put the fight on the fucking moon and they're just going to go ahead, put it on the moon. That's fine. That's fine. We don't care. Cognitive fucking dissonance. Cognitive dissonance. That's what the fuck it is. That's what the fuck it is. And that's just the bottom line. That's just the bottom line. Oh, I bet you it's in the UK. Why you think it's going to be in the UK? Why? The fight is bigger over here. The ticket prices are 5 times more the cost in America than they are in the UK. It's just a fact. You can't deny that. Gennady Golovkin and Canelo Alvarez fought in front of 16,500 people in their first fight. The live gate was $27 million. That is a factual number confirmed by the Nevada State Athletic Commission. Well, Beep, didn't you call in the New York State Athletic Commission and they couldn't give you the numbers? Why did Nevada? Because New York has what's called a state tax. Nevada does not. So they don't have to go through any state taxation department. So the numbers can be freely reported because there's no state tax in the state of Nevada. That's why. That's how we got the numbers. You could call the commission in Nevada and they'll give you any number you want. Okay? I've done it before for the Mayweather fight. Okay? And that's why they told me that it was like the attendance for the McGregor fight was only 15,500 or somewhere around there. But some of these fucking tickets, the ringside seats were like 10 grand and people were paying for them. And people were fucking paying for them. So that's the thing. So getting back to my point, Golovkin and Canelo, 16,500, live gate of $27 million. Klitschko, Joshua, 90,000 people, live gate of 11,000, live gate of $11,500,000. So the Golovkin-Canelo fight was more than double the amount, generated double the amount of money than the live gate did, over double than the live gate did for Klitschko Joshua. And they had 90,000 people in that stadium. 90,000 people. What does that tell you? That the United States market is a much larger market than the UK. So why would you not want to be involved in that market if you are a fighter? Ask Lennox Lewis why. Ask Ricky Hatton why. Ask all these fighters that came over here why. Because there's more money here by far in the United States. Eddie Hearn himself told you that. He said that. That's what he said. That's not my words. You can't argue against that. You can't argue against that. You can't. You can't. So that's why the zone is going to push very hard for this fight to be here in the United States. And that's why Eddie Hearn, at first he said, yeah, it's going to be in the UK. But then afterwards, he backtracked and said, well, it could still be here in the United States. We have to look at it. Because he knows that he has to look at everything that's going to be put in front of him. And it would be irresponsible. It would be irresponsible on his part for him to put the fight in the UK for substantially less money. It cost his promotional company money. It cost his fighter money, leaving money on the table when he knows the fight is substantially bigger in the United States. That's just the facts. No promoter worth his salt is going to do something like that. No promoter, worth his weight in salt is going to do that. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. To be perfectly honest with you. So again, is it in the contract that Hearn has the authority to say where the fight is going to be? Possibly. I don't know. I don't know that. He has not come out and confirmed that. But judging by his statements, I don't know. Is Reese's purse already set for the rematch? Possibly. I don't know. I really don't know. I can't tell you yes or no. You guys are saying definitively yes, like you know. I'm being honest and telling you I don't know. Do I think this fight's definitely in the United States? No. But I'm going to be honest with you. If I was a betting man, I would say there's an 85% chance that rematch is going to be in the United States, in my opinion. But I'm saying my opinion. You guys are definitively saying with 100% certainty the fight's in the UK. You have no way of knowing that. But your cognitive dissonance will not allow you to be objective and say, I want it in the UK, but it still could very well be in the United States. You won't even say that because of your cognitive dissonance. You're that weak, and your ego is that fragile that you can't say it. Can't say it. That's cognitive motherfucking dissonance. That's what it is. That's what it is. AJ is still in the United States. He was making video. He was on. He was in New York yesterday. They were doing videos on him, and he was like playing basketball. And the guy made a joke to him. He said, "Hey, don't lose to any more fat guys." AJ himself said he would come back here. AJ himself says he loves it in New York. So again, like Eddie Hearn is telling you that they could bring the fight back here. Anthony Joshua is saying he could bring the fight back here, but you guys are still turning around and say, "Hey, the fight is definitely in the UK without question." Oh, it doesn't matter what the zone wants. Eddie Hearn just going to do what he wants to do. Yeah, it doesn't matter what the zone wants. They're giving Eddie Hearn fucking $250 million a year, but it doesn't matter what the zone wants. No, nothing. It doesn't really. That's the stupidity of you guys. Thank you, Georgie. That's the stupidity of you guys. A promoter gets paid by the broadcaster. Promoter does not put up his own money. He could, but for the most part, the majority of the money that a promoter uses to pay a fighter is from the broadcaster. That's where the money comes from. Okay? That's where the money comes from. The broadcaster has more power than the promoter because they are the ones that are coming up with the revenue. Simple and plain. Simple and plain. That's it. Go back and look at Floyd Mayweather's checks from his deal, from his multi-million-dollar deal. When he showed you that check online, right? And it was written out to him, right? Who was it? Who was it? Who was it issued by? Who was it issued by? Just ask yourself that question, and that will tell you where the power really lies. The power really lies with the networks, the broadcasters. They have the power. They determine what they want to show on their platform. They can say, no, we don't want this fight. DAZN has first and last rights refusal to every Joshua fight shown in America. That's a fact. That's irrefutable. But you guys will still come on here, leave stupid comments, challenging the fucking facts. When Eddie Hearn himself said, I had some idiot here before telling me, oh, Joshua's got a long-term deal with DAZN. No, he doesn't. He's a fight-to-fight, first and last right refusal. Oh, no. Because you wanted it to be the way you wanted it to be. Your cognitive dissonance would not allow you. And then I showed you proof, and then you came out and said, oh, yeah. Like, you guys just don't say what you want to believe. Just say what is. Just because you want something, it's not going to be the way you want it. You can't change reality. You can't. You can't. All right, guys, that's about it. I'm going to wrap this one up. That's all I have to say about it. Eric and I are probably going to do a show today, sometime later, after the Golovkin Rolls weigh-in. So we're going to do a Golovkin Rolls preview. We're also going to do a live cast tomorrow night for Golovkin Rolls. We love doing those. So that'll be great, man. That'll be great. Carnival says, if the pot for AJ was about 40 million and AJ Miller 27 million, by comparison, how is there more money for AJ in America? Just asking. Well, first of all, how do you know the pot for Povetkin and AJ was 40 million? When it was reported, this is what was reported, but it wasn't confirmed, that AJ made 20 million for that fight. So if AJ made 20 million for that fight, and you're saying the pot was 40 million, so you're telling me that he went 50-50 with Povetkin? Again, see, this is the ridiculousness of you guys. You're just crazy. You're just crazy. You don't understand. You don't get it. You don't get it. He made $20 million for Povetkin. Okay? What was Povetkin's purse? His was 20 million too? Stop it. Stop it. Klitschko and Joshua split 15. They made 15 million pounds each for their fight. Okay? The fight, the total gross for Klitschko, the total gross for Klitschko Joshua was 51 million. That's what everything included. That's what live gate, pay-per-views, and everything. 51 million. That was a $51 million fight. Now, does that mean the fighters are splitting 51 million? No. Because the broadcaster and everyone else has to get their cut. Okay? Everyone has to get their cut. So if the pot for Klitschko Joshua was 30 million pounds, how in the fuck can you even come up with? Joshua Povetkin the pot was 40 million? You could say what you want. If you want it to be that way, that doesn't mean it's going to be that way. It's not. It's not. And again, 20 million pounds is roughly 26 million. You don't know that. The rate changes every day. One time it was 1.4. Sometimes it's 1.2. Is it more than the American dollar? Yes, but sometimes it's not that much more. You don't know that. It depends. It's daily. Well, let's look it up right now. Dollars to pounds. Let's look it up. 1 United States dollar equals 0.78 pounds. That's what it does. So let's take a look at it. Convert US dollars to British pounds. We're going to convert it right here. We're going to see what we can come up with. 20 million right here. So like I said, British pound right now is 1.2 is 1.27. That's what it is. That's what it is. Pounds, let's do. So today, $20 million would be $25 million. You were close. 20 million pounds. So he got 15 million pounds for Klitschko. So he got 15 million. So basically, he got $19 million for Klitschko. And he got 25. He got 25 for Povetkin. Cognitive dissonance. Do you know what cognitive dissonance means? Someone asked me what cognitive dissonance means. Basically, what cognitive dissonance is, if you have a belief, okay, you believe something to be a certain way, or you believe something to be true. Someone presents to you evidence that it may not be true, but you choose to not look at that evidence, and you disregard that evidence because you just want what you say to be true so bad. That basically means that you're in denial of the truth. So if you say something, if I tell you that if you say that this guy made $20 million, and you're like, I know he made $20 million, but then I show you evidence, I show you his check that he only made 15, and then you'll turn around and say, oh, well, that's not really an accurate source. Where'd you get that? That's made up. You know, that's cognitive dissonance. Like sometimes when someone will say to you, okay, if that's so true, give me a link, right? You give them a link, you know, and then they'll turn around and say, oh, that's not a good source. That's bullshit. You know what that is? That's cognitive dissonance. Because no matter what I tell you, you're going to find a way to discredit it and disbelieve it. That's what cognitive dissonance is. But in this case, I showed people actual quotes from Eddie Hearn. So if I'm showing you actual quotes from Eddie Hearn, it's really irrefutable. That's what that means. So basically, no matter what I show you, you're still going to believe what you want to believe. No, I just told you were right. That's the difference between me and you. 20 million pounds is 25 million US dollars. I agree with you. That's the difference between me and you. I told you were right. You explained it to me. You said 20 million pounds. I converted it. You were right. Just like I'm, you know, now will you do the same for me? Will you do the same for me? You won't turn around and do the same for me. You told me something. You provide. I said 20 million. You said B, but pounds. I converted it. I am taking it easy. See, that's another form of cognitive dissonance. See that you know why that's cognitive dissonance? Because even when I tell him he's right, he has to try to make me look bad by saying, take it easy, Beeb. You see what I'm saying? He can't just say, okay, Beeb, cool. I get it. He has to say, no problem, Beeb, take it easy. That's cognitive dissonance too. That's a form of cognitive dissonance. That's what it is. Oh, take it easy. He has to give me a back. He has to find some way to disrespect me or discredit me, even when I agree with him. Even when I agree with him. That's the sick part about it. That's the sick part about it. So all these rumors about AJ making 35 million, 32 million, I heard he made 20 million for this fight. That's what I heard. That's what I heard. Is that a lot of money? Yeah. But again, people inflate his numbers. People inflate his numbers. I mean, I like a debate. And if I have to argue in the debate, then I'm willing to do that too. But when I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Prove me wrong, I can prove him wrong. I never questioned how popular Joshua was in the UK. I never questioned how much money Joshua made. I never questioned that Joshua was the highest paid heavyweight in the world. I never questioned those things. I never said that. I never argued against that. But then when I bring up a point, you guys won't give me any credit for the points I make. You guys don't realize that this fight makes more money in the United States if the rematch is in the United States. Even if I run the numbers, I show you the ticket prices, I give you examples of live gates from other events that are comparable to this event, and I show you how much money they did. That's cognitive dissonance. That's what it is. You guys you guys won't return you just won't accept information. You won't accept information. That's cognitive dissonance. That's what it is. What's up, Burgess Meredith? How you doing? All right, guys. I'm going to get back to the salt mines here. So stay tuned. We'll probably be back. Well, we'll definitely be back later today. I'm guessing around 4 o'clock-ish. So talk to you guys all soon. Have a great day, and make sure you hit the like button. Check out Mega Fit Meals. Buy a Ringside Reporter T-shirt, and we will catch you all later, man. Have a great day. Peace out.